How's it going, guys? It's Pride here, and today's scenario we're going to be going over Piccolo. Piccolo has always been a very complicated character, and that makes sense due to his very complicated history. But because of all this, he always felt like a character that wasn't understood fully, which led me to think, was there someone that could understand him? Someone that has experienced the same things he has experienced also, but maybe slightly different. And with this train of thought, I got led to the question of, what if Piccolo had a twin? Or at least as close to a twin as he possibly could have. There's a couple of ways I've thought of doing this, but we'll go over the one that I think makes the most sense. So, without further ado, let the story begin. Kami is up in his lookout, looking down at Goku with his godly eyes as Goku is preparing to end Demon King Piccolo. As the fist goes straight through the Demon King, Kami is prepared for what happens next. But after a moment, he realized that he is not fading, which can only mean one thing. Somehow, Piccolo is still alive, in one form or another. And after using his godly eyes, he finds an egg that is hurtling through the sky, traveling across the world to, presumably, a safe place for it to hatch. And Kami realized what truly is going on, how the Demon King is still living on in some way via this egg. But he also realized the trouble with this. Demon King Piccolo had a limit to his strength, but this new entity might not. Whatever this egg is, it could be full of untold potential. And right now, their only hope is Goku. But is he good enough to save the world? He struggled so much with Demon King Piccolo, and this offspring might be even stronger. Kami realized he needs a backup plan. He can't hinge everything on Goku. Goku needs help, he needs training, but he is still just one person. With this in mind, Kami looks over at Popo, and Popo already has a sinking feeling in his stomach. As Kami says, "Don't worry, dear friend, I'm not leaving. At least, not truly. But maybe the world needs a guardian that's not past his prime." Then Kami uses a ritual to make an egg of himself, using all of his life force and knowledge and infusing that egg with it. Not long after, both eggs begins to shake. One larger one on the ground and a smaller one in the sky. The larger one is shaken violently, while the other one seems to have a rhythmic motion to it. The larger egg breaks open and a small green child comes out of it, already with a scowl on his face and anger reflected in his eyes. The smaller egg eventually cracks open bit by bit till it breaks out part of its shell, revealing a small face within, as it looks up at Popo with a smile and kind eyes. Not long after that, Goku arrives at Kami's lookout, and he undergoes Popo's test. After completing this test, Popo says he is now permitted to train with Kami, the guardian of Earth. Goku is expected a warrior, someone whose strength is beyond his understanding, and he's excited for this. But a warrior doesn't come out, and instead, Goku sees a small child, smaller than both him and Krillin. But the other thing that surprises Goku is the fact that this child is green, and seems to have a strong resemblance to that of Demon King Piccolo. Goku is taken aback by this, however Kami is prepared for this, as he says, "Hello, my name is Kami, and it will be a pleasure to train with you. There are some things I must learn all over again, and we have a lot to prepare for if we want to be able to stand up to Piccolo in the future." Kami explains to Goku that Piccolo is not dead in the true sense, as he has been reincarnated and is out there getting stronger by the day. And if they want to face him and make sure that he cannot terrorize the world again, they have to get stronger too. And with that, the years pass by, leading to the next world tournament. Goku arrives at the entrance and he reunites with his friends. At first, they don't recognize him as he has changed tremendously, but it's not just his physique that has changed, also an air about him that is different. The tournament begins, and all of Goku's allies are proven that they too have been training, but it has become apparent that there are 3 people in this tournament that are just a cut above the rest: Hero, Goku, and Ma Jr. In every match they are in, they are just resoundingly winning. Even Tien seemingly can't do anything against Goku. And even though Tien probably knows that Goku's not doing it intentionally, Tien can't help but feel that he is being toyed with, and Goku is truly not trying in the least. Eventually, the match between Ma Jr. and Hero finally begins, but truly, it's a match between Piccolo Jr. and Kami Jr. Piccolo says, "I know exactly who you are, old man. You have no hope of defeating me. And once I defeat you and Goku, then I'll be one step away from world domination." But Piccolo hears back in his head, "Maybe, but maybe not, dear brother." Piccolo is surprised by this, as he didn't expect a younger voice to reply to him. Hero takes off his disguise, and it is a smaller Namekian, which is strange as Piccolo looks like a Namekian that is entering his adult years. However, Kami seems to be someone that is just entering their teenage years. It seems apparent that Piccolo's growth is unnatural due to the demonic energy that Demon King Piccolo placed upon the egg to accelerate growth. But Kami is also aging faster than a regular earthling would. Piccolo is only shocked for a moment, but he then says it doesn't matter as the fight truly begins. Piccolo is thinking that he's going to easily win against this fight, but he finds out quickly that Kami is no slouch in martial art. In fact, on the surface, he seems to be Piccolo's equal. It is is until Piccolo stops playing around and truly lets the difference be known that he is just physically better and more talented when it comes to fighting. And he even takes his time entering Kami to really let the difference set in. However, before Kami is knocked out of the ring, most of Kami's wounds start to heal on their own. He displays his abilities to use magic. Not just any magic, but the healing arts that they seem to have unlocked at some point during his training with Goku. Now healed up, the match starts anew, and this time Kami is using all of his mystic arts to fight against Piccolo. And now it is Kami's turn to show the difference between them, as Kami clearly has a better understanding on their magical abilities. This fight truly seems a fight between yin and yang. The fighter is physically better, but the other fighter is spiritually better. It's also at this point that Piccolo is truly getting angry and thus decides to hit Kami with an all or nothing attack, which resorts to Kami getting kicked out of the ring and their match ends. But even though he has lost, he does have a smile on his face. He looks up at Piccolo and says, "Well, you're as good as I thought, better even. However, this is what you can do, then I'm not worried. I look forward to seeing the next match, brother. Till then." And then Kami leaves the stage. Soon after that, Goku arrives and he says to Piccolo, "Man, that was an intense fight, and I can tell you're way stronger than your dad. That just gets me excited. Oh, just to let you know, I'm not gonna go easy on you." Piccolo says, You dare look down on me? I'll make you regret that." And then the fight begins, with Piccolo's expecting to have the upper hand in strength, as he did with Kami. But Goku's actually just as strong as him. In fact, as the fight goes on, he thinks Goku might be a little bit stronger, if not a lot stronger. Not wanting to be humiliated for the second time today, Piccolo decides to go all out and takes off his weighted gear, trying to match Goku's speed and actually trying to outspeed Goku. And even everyone in the crowd, including Tien and Krillin, are shocked by the speed difference that this makes. However, Goku seems to be content with this with no problem. Goku then decides to stop holding back, as he easily hits Piccolo with a devastating combo and follows it up with a Kamehameha. Piccolo's doing everything he can to not be knocked out by this attack. In fact, is enraged more so than he's ever been in his entire life. He then assumes his giant form, using the demonic powers within him to try to grant him more strength and give him a better chance at winning. It is at this moment that Goku himself takes off his weighted clothes, as he seems to be taking this fight much more seriously. Tien wonders out loud how could Goku possibly get this strong in such a short amount of time. Tien is actually very envious at this moment at Goku's development. Kami thinks back to their training, where Goku reached a bottleneck when it came to strength. However, Kami had a breakthrough not long after that, in terms of realizing his healing capabilities. After healing Goku up multiple times, and even them training in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber together, Goku has improved beyond even Kami's expectations, as it seems that every time Goku's in a life or death fight and he gets healed up, Goku gets so much more powerful with almost no work. So they took advantage of this, not pushing too much on it, as Kami's wisdom lets him know that become reliant on that could be a problem in the future. So they use this method with moderation, thus giving us the Goku we have now, someone that is just clearly stronger than Piccolo. Even with his demonic giant transformation, he still loses at the end. Goku is injured but not severely so, and Kami decides to heal him up just a little bit. But not only that, Kami goes over to Piccolo and heals him up as well. Everyone can't believe what is happening. This was the perfect time to end Piccolo right here and there, to stop his reign of terror before it even begins. And yet this other person that looks just like him is healing him up. Maybe he's a traitor in disguise, who knows? But Kami says to everyone that Piccolo may have his faults, but he can sense that he is honorable, and he knows he lost this fight, and everyone else here does too, and Piccolo will remember this. Kami reaches out a hand to help Piccolo up, but Piccolo swats it away. He stands up on his own, preparing to leave. But before he does, Kami says, "You know, if you ever want to talk, I'm never too far away, and we don't have to like each other, but because we kind of need one another to exist, we don't have to hate each other, do we? I learned a lot from Goku that grudges don't need to be kept, so this is me reaching out my hand to you, saying that we could be more than our predecessors." Piccolo only looks at him for a moment, says nothing, and with a calmly flies away. Goku reunites with Chi-Chi and they decide to have some quality time together after all these years. Kami, on the other hand, saw all of the fighters in this tournament and actually sees potential in a lot of them. However, he can't train all of them because some of them are more envious, a little spark of darkness in them. But one shows true potential to learn and grow in the way that Kami hopes they will. So with that, he extends an invitation to Krillin, see if he wants to train at his lookout and maybe one day get to where Goku's at right now. And that is where we ended. I hope you guys enjoyed this what if. If you did, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment down below, share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Also, special shout out, thank you to my channel members. I appreciate all the support you guys show for me. And if you're watching this video and you're not a channel member, click that join button below and take a second to look at it to see if you really want to support the channel too. That's all I have to say. You guys do what you want to do, but no matter what you choose, at the end of the day, I hope you guys have a good day and I'll see you guys later. Peace.